This is super interesting. Never read this before. This is from the Cave of Treasures. And Nahshon begat Shelah, that is to say, Salmon the Shelah begot Boaz. Observe now that the kingdom went forth from Boaz and Ruth, the Moabites. For the old man Boaz took Ruth to wife, so that Lot, the son of Abraham's brother, might have participation in the transmission of the kingdom. And God did not deprive the righteous man Lot of the reward of his labor, because he had suffered in exile with Abraham, and he received the angels of God in peace. And that the righteous man Lot might not be reviled because he slept with his daughters, God granted that the royal succession might be maintained by the seed of both, and that Christ should be born of the seed of Lot and Abraham. And from the seed of Ruth the Moabites Obed was born, and from Obed Jesse, and from Jesse David, and from David Solomon. These are the descendants of Ruth the Moabites, the daughter of Lot, and of Naamah the Ammonites. Another daughter of Lot, whom Solomon took to wife, was born Rehoboam, who reigned after Solomon. And then we're only at a minute, so I'm going to go into Solomon. And everybody doesn't really know like what happened to Solomon, but I'm going to read it right now, what happened to him for him sinning with so many women. Now Solomon married many wives, 700 freeborn women and 300 concubines. And of the 1,000 women which he took to wife, he had no son except from Nabab the Ammonites. And why was it that God did not give him a son from these others? It was in order to prevent the wicked seed of the Canaanites and the Jebusites and the Amorites and the Hittites and the Girgashites and the seed of the people whom God hated from mingling in the succession of the genealogy of Jesus Christ. See right there, why would God hate people? Because those people where it says ites at the end, and they're not Israelites, those people were descendants from the fallen angels. Their children were giants, and that's what those people are. Not all of them were 15 feet tall. Some of them were smaller, but they were still of that bloodline. And that's why God said, kill the women, the children, everything, the animals, everything. The seed was corrupted, and the corruption was preserved through the flood on purpose so that the seed of Cain could continue on with the seed of the woman. The seed of the serpent was Naamah, his second wife Naamah, and obviously Noah was of Adam's line. So the seed was preserved, and then it goes on to say here, hold on one second. Oh yeah. From the Kebner Gas, and the angel of God went down to Solomon and said unto him, and this is written by E.A. Wallace Budge, and so is the Kebner Gas, which is the history of the kings of Israel. And the angel of God went down to Solomon and said unto him, from being a wise man thou hast turned thyself into a fool, and from being a rich man thou hast turned thyself into a poor man, and from being a king thou hast turned thyself into a man of no account, through transgressing the commandment of God. And the beginning of thy evil was thy taking of many wives for thee. For thou this dost transgress his law and his decree and the ordinance of God which Moses wrote and gave to you to Israel, that you should not marry wives from alien peoples, but only your kinsfolk, and the house of your fathers, that your seed might be pure and holy, and God might dwell with you. Pause. So how could current pastors say that Genesis 6 was the seed of Seth mixing with the seed of Cain? Why would that create giants? It would not. It's because the fallen angels came down here and they slept with human women from Cain's line who had already seraphic blood in them, because Satan slept with Eve to produce Cain. He was seraphic. He was not like Adam. It says it in multiple texts. I've read them on my channel. It's on my channel. Even Joseph thought that Mary was pregnant from a fallen angel at first and said, oh my goodness, what happened to Adam happened to me, and it wasn't that. So I'm just trying to explain that so I go through here, you understand what I'm talking about. But thou didst hold lightly the law of God, thinking that thou wast wiser than God, and that thou wouldest get very many male children. But the foolishness of God is wiser than the wisdom of men, and he hath only given thee 3 sons. Now see that right there? But the foolishness of God is wiser. Now that's God talking. God is saying this. But the foolishness of God is wiser than the wisdom of men. So the wisdom of men is the canon. That is what they have done. They've taken all the books out and they've said, we know what's best. We're the ones that decide what's good and what's not. And that's them putting the word on trial. Jesus was on trial back then, and he's been on trial still for these 2,000 years, which is why the pigs that fall off the cliff are in the number of 2,000. It's the years given over to the false Christian church, which is why Satan said to Jesus, take these 2 stones and make them bread. The 2 stones are the canon, which is the Old and the New Testament. Take these 2 stones and make them bread. He says man doesn't live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. Every word, not just some of them, all of them. That's what that verse means right there. And then it says, The one who carried off thy glory into an alien land and made the inhabitation of God to be in Ethiopia. That's because God took the Ark of the Covenant away from Solomon and brought it to Ethiopia. I don't know if you heard, in the past couple of years, 700 Christian Ethiopian priests were murdered in the past couple of years, probably looking for the Ark of the Covenant. The one who is lame of foot, who shall sit by thy throne for the people of Israel, the son of thy kin from Tarbana of the house of Judah, and the one who is the son of the Greek woman, a handmaiden, who is the last day shall destroy Rehoboam and all thy kin of Israel, and this land shall be his because he believeth in him that shall come, the Savior.